Is American Promise's track record set at Colonial Downs in the Virginia Derby legit? Is he a real Kentucky Derby contender? I'll be answering those questions here and let you know what tracks I'll be covering with my picks today. Welcome to All Horse Racing All the Time. I'm Alan, your host, where we bring you fresh, new horse racing information every single day. Now, American Promise, talk of the town, flavor of the week right now, after winning the Virginia Derby in track record at Colonial Downs for 1 mile and an eighth. And you have D. Wayne Lucas. Everyone loves D. Wayne Lucas. And I've been getting hit with questions about this track records, some just flat out exclamations. This is the horse to beat in the Derby. Did you see that? Set the track record. Even at the 6 furlong mark, he had run the 6 furlongs, opening 6 furlongs at 108 and change. I mean, that's enough to beat a lot of Breeders' Cup horses, right? In a 6 furlong race, and this one's only a 3-year-old. Yeah, American Promise, D. Wayne Lucas, 89 years old. He's going to win another Kentucky Derby. Is that track record? And they go to that track record, 146.41 for 1 1/8 mile at Colonial Downs. Terrific. The time is fast as hell. It set the track record for 1 mile and an eighth. But is that legit? Okay. Well, as far as the legitimacy goes, yeah, it's a track record for that distance. But there's more to this than meets the eye. Because when we're talking about 1 mile and an eighth here, there are a couple things. How important is that track record in pure time? It's a terrific time. A couple of things to keep in mind here before you go nuts about this. Okay, this was run on a very fast track, just the 108 and change for the opening 6 furlongs tells the story there, and the track record. Okay, so now you got to think about the track bias. All right. So we already have a buyer speed figure that they came in here. So we're adjusting the buyer figure. Now there's more than just the number, which I'm going to get to in a second. Buyer figure 95. Where does that rank as far as him being a contender for the Kentucky Derby win spot, which we'll also talk about in a second? There's others that have run faster so far. A number of horses have run faster than the 95 that American Promise put up in the 1 mile and an eighth. So we're talking about the track bias. Fine, but there's more. We really don't have data to go by that indicates how fast that track record under those conditions were, the pars for the race. Because if you go back to 2021, you go back 4 years, there have only been a few races on dirt run at Colonial Downs, and that dirt race, it's not even a 2-turn race at Colonial Downs because they come out of the chute over there. So you only have 3 races worth of par times to compare the race that American Promise ran in the Virginia Derby. And get this, 2 of those races were races that were taken off the turf, moved over to the dirt. So you really only have 1 race to go by on dirt at 1 mile and an eighth, a true 1 1/8 over there under those conditions with actual dirt horses. The other 2 were off the turf, rained off the turf. They went to the dirt. So can't even compare it to those horses. So you really don't have par times. Best we can do is track bias in this case. And as far as the Derby prep race, it was run at a 1-turn race out of a chute. Okay, so you don't have the 2. You can't even look at the 2-turn factor, which is crucial for Kentucky Derby horses. Okay, so as far as that goes, was it a legitimate track record? Yeah, but under what conditions was it run, and who can you compare it? What races can you compare it to say how good of a track record it was if you only have a few races run on dirt over the last 4 years at Colonial Downs? So that track record, yeah, it was a nice race. It was a good time, but we don't have anything to gauge it to. As far as being a legitimate Kentucky Derby contender, a real Kentucky Derby contender, well, yeah, he's going to be in the race. He has the 50 points. has the victory at Colonial Downs. He's gonna get in there. He's gonna be qualified to get in there. Talking about points, 50 points. Last year's cutoff points was 37. So he'll get in there if he's healthy and ready to go. But can he win? When you look at numbers, right now, buyer figures, for example, we have that number. And I also have some Thorograph numbers of past races. That's my go-to. I use that data, Thorograph, Ragozin sheets, same thing. And to get the real true speed figure, which usually differs significantly to the traditional Brisnet and Beyer DRF figures. So by the Beyer figure, which we have now, that's the indicator we can go by. I don't have the sheet numbers yet for that came out of that race, but I'll tell you this: unless he really jumps forward. There are a number of horses out there that have been faster at him than him to this point, and faster at 2 turns. He's a feel-good story. He's going to take some money in the Derby. Everyone loves D. Wayne Lucas, 89 years old. Yeah. So he's the sexy horse this week, which seems to change from week to week. A few weeks back, it was East Avenue. Now that he's over 100-1 for the Derby, they think he's a dog now, a rat. He can't run. He can't run a route race. But this one's. We'll see who's the flavor of the week next week after we have the 2 Derby prep races. Is he legit? Is he a real Kentucky Derby contender? I say no. Unless he really runs lights out, does something like a Magnitude did, poor Magnitude. And speaking about buyer figures, really jumps forward. I don't see American Promise as a Kentucky Derby contender, a real win contender. Let's put it that way. And speaking of Magnitude and buyer figures for a second, he put up a 108 when he won his race before he, had the ankle, came up with a lane with the ankle. And so we'll see him later in the year. All indications say 108 to 95. He just destroyed, Magnitude destroyed American Promise. And you have others who have too as well. You can talk journalism. You can talk Citizen Bull. Other horses have been over 100 this year. So we have much better contenders out here who are already qualified for the Derby. So as of right now, no, I don't see American Promise as a Kentucky Derby win contender. And I don't see that track record, although it's legit on the Colonial Downs. It's not a true, they don't have anything to really go by, measure it to, considering there have only been 3 races at 1 1/8 miles at Colonial Downs going back 4 years, okay? And out of a chute, no less. So let's not go stir crazy over that track record. And I'm seeing so many media outlets like trumpeting the Sets track record, American Promise. Hold the phone, people. Look at all the facts before you jump to conclusions about how great that track record was. Okay. And what is he ran it in 146.41. The track record, the fastest 1 1/8 is 1 minute 45 seconds. Okay. So it was a nice race, but he's nowhere near the all-time North American track record, which is over a full second quicker. Okay, what tracks am I going to be covering today? For those of you who are looking for my win and exotic contenders for all the races, we've been working on that. It's going to be out there later this morning. Tracks today, Parks, of course. We're going to be covering Parks. And we have Mahoning selections. We'll be covering Mahoning Valley selections. And also today, Fairgrounds, big weekend over at Fairgrounds with the Louisiana Derby this weekend. I am going to be doing a live show, handicapping show, covering the races over at Fairgrounds. So it will be open chat, open discussions, Q&A, handicapping the races. So that looks like a lot of fun to get a track like Fairgrounds running on a Tuesday. Now, if you have any questions or topics, something you'd like me to address in an upcoming show, such as today, where I answer these questions about American Promise, you can write me at liveracingshow@gmail.com. Liveracingshow@gmail.com. All one word, all all lowercase. And you could also present questions or follow me on Twitter at All Horse Racing all the time. For those of you, some of you looking for me on other platforms, I'm no longer using Facebook, was getting bombarded with questions and requests over there. And same thing over, not on TikTok or Instagram, anything like that. I condensed it over, consolidated over to the two platforms that I primarily use right here. You also got the comments. If you have comments, leave them down below right here on YouTube and also on Twitter. So those are the places to use me. And of course, if my friends or those who have my number, you can always text me or give me a call. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Have a great day and best of luck if you're playing today. And remember, may the horse be with you.